Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming out to the session. We're going to start in a couple of minutes, but while we wait, we wanted to see if I can climb on this stage. They really need like a ladder or something. Not the tallest employee here at Salesforce. I just wanted to invite you all to write down this URL or go to this URL. For those of you who are going to be playing the home game or trying to keep up with us, I wish you luck, because we're going to cover a tremendous amount in the next 30 to 40 minutes. But for those of you who want to keep up later as well, Ashley's going to show some samples of code, and we're actually going to share those with you. So feel free to go to that URL and download the PDF with all those code samples, should you so desire. And for those of you who may be watching this recording in the future, hello from the past. And we're going to go ahead and keep this URL live for you for the foreseeable future as well. So I just wanted to give you a quick announcement in a couple of minutes. I know you're all going to do that while you wait. And we'll get started in just a few minutes here. All right, we are doing this thing. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming out to this session. I know you had a lot of sessions that you could have chosen, and our aim is to reward you for choosing to go to this one by making the next 40 minutes the best 40 minutes of your entire Trailhead experience. I can't necessarily promise we're going to succeed at that, but it's going to be good. We're going to laugh. We might cry a little, and we will learn a lot. Whoops, that is more slides than I wanted to jump ahead. Do I need to point this way?
Yeah.
Ha, ha. There we go. So, session's about integrating Community Cloud and Service Cloud. So quick show of hands, how many people here are running Community Cloud currently? Awesome. How many people here are running Service Cloud currently? Excellent. It's going to be a great session. I'm Eric Lerner. I lead product management for customer communities within Community Cloud. My co-presenters are Ashley.
Hello. So I'm a software engineer in the Community Cloud. Also specifically on the community service integration team, and some of my coworkers are actually here. So if you have any questions with communities, feel free to hunt them down and ask them questions.
It's the people standing in the back looking nervous.
Yes.
And also Kanan.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kanan. I'm the product manager for Snapins in Service Cloud. And we do have a section in the session today about how you can integrate Snapins chat into communities. So happy to take you guys through that.
Thanks, Kanan. We are going to show some futures today at the end. So as always, make purchasing decisions based on what's currently available in the product today. Usually I make a joke, but we're in a hurry because we have a lot to cover. So the theme of this session is going to be less talk, more rock. So you're going to have to endure a couple minutes of me talking about slides at the start and the end. And the meat of that sandwich is going to be 30 minutes of deep technical stuff with Ashley and Kanan, where we talk particularly about getting the most out of cases in communities and how to set up Snapins and Live Agent so you can chat from communities. So a lot of hands went up, which tells me a lot of folks know what Community Cloud actually is. But I like to give just a little quick overview of the way we think about it. I feel like there's some value there. So you've got a Salesforce org. Inside of that Salesforce org, you've got all of this important data, whether it's your cases, your knowledge articles, your leads, your opportunities, or integration with other data from other systems like Oracle, SAP, IBM. Underneath all of that data, you can imagine a sort of imaginary conveyor belt right there. What you've got is business processes. So when a case comes in, where is that case supposed to go? How does it get there, et cetera? So you've got all this stuff inside of Salesforce. The challenge is sometimes you have stakeholders who are not Salesforce users who need to get to that data. Community Cloud is all about opening a little window right there, a portal if you will, into that business data and those business processes for your stakeholders who are not necessarily day-to-day Salesforce users. That's what we do. There's a little more to it, but I'll spare you the arcane details so we can go right into the code. This used to be a beautiful slide put together by our Service Cloud marketing team that showed you all of the different parts of Service Cloud, sort of low to high touch conversations. I sullied it with the ugly red boxes, unfortunately. And what these crudely drawn red boxes really meant to convey is, here's all the different stuff in Service Cloud that you can quickly surface inside of a community, whether it's live agent, live message, chatbots, cases, what have you. So that's just a little bit of background about how we think about communities and how they fit together with Service Cloud. There's two different ways to deploy a community. You can build it by hand from scratch via code using Visualforce, or you can use something called our Lightning Community Templates. Quick show of hands, how many people here are using our Lightning Community Templates for their community? Great. So they allow you to very quickly build rich, interactive, mobile responsive communities via a drag and drop editor. So that's what we're going to focus on largely today. That's what we're focusing on largely in terms of our innovation as a company. Visualforce is great, but it's baked. Real quick and obligatory, there's a couple other sessions that you might want to check out if you care about this cloud. So this one right here has already happened. So people of the future, feel free to watch that recording. This one is happening as we speak. Thank you very much, scheduling people. So you can't go to that one. But this one later this afternoon, I highly recommend, which is about integrating with your enterprise content management system. So first thing we're going to do is talk about integrating your cases with a community. It works right out of the box, but there's a little more nuance to it than that. First off, these are the things we're going to cover. As you set up your cases, you may or may not want the out-of-the-box case functionality and create case experience that we provide. If you want to customize that, it's very straightforward, and here to show you how, Ashley McGuire.
Right, so let's go to our community here. There you go. So now this is I'm going to be using the customer service template. For those who have been using communities before, you might know it better as the Napili template. And one of the great things about the customer service template is it allows you to customize it in a way that allows your customers to easily find questions, which you can find in the discussions tab, or you can also categorize a topic, your articles and questions under topics, which they can now go ahead and see, okay, let's say that they have questions with their espresso machines, they will just click here, and it will show you discussions and articles. Now, the other thing is you also want your community to also be a great way for your customers to find, maybe file a case in terms of, okay, well, my machine just broke. I can't find a question related to that, and articles are not helping, so I'm going to contact the support. Now, on the customer service template at the bottom, you'll find by default the contact support component. So we're going to go ahead and click it. Now, one of the things about the contact support component is that it uses the global action create a new case, and this is by default what it shows you. Now, we have here already 5 fields. First one is status, which you can see they'll be able to choose escalated or for whatever reason closed. Or they can already assign it to a contact, and they can choose where is this case coming from. Now, and then you have your subject and description. But as a manager, you don't think it's necessary for your customers to fill out these 3 fields. You just need subject and description. So let's go ahead and customize that. So we're going to go to setup, and under the global actions page, we're going to go into our new case. Now, here we're going to go ahead and layout.
One thing to throw out there while Ashley does that is this new case is used in other places as well. So if you want to keep it the same in most places but customize it just for the community, make a copy, and then you can point the community towards the copy instead.
Correct. So we're just going to go ahead and save this. And now, one thing you do want to set already is the status to we already knew. So below here, you'll find the section called predefined field values. And I already went ahead and set our status to always be new. So next thing we're going to be doing is setting our case origin field. Now, I could have used this section to do that, but let's say you want to have some criteria. Okay, let's only external users who are filing a case set to community. Anything else will be the other fields.
So real world example here is you might want to have very specific business logic to handle community cases differently than ones that come in via the email channel or the phone channel. And the way to do that is just to key off of the origin field for the case. Problem is, by default, communities isn't in that origin set of options. Ashley's going to show you how to set that up as well.
Yeah, correct. So the first four are what you have by default when you have a new org. Community is not there. So you can add it by just simply going to your case object, case fields, and then click on case origin, and then you'll click new. Now, none of these are set to default. Like Eric mentioned, global action is used throughout your whole org, and so you don't want every single new case to be set already to a specific place. So what we're going to do instead is use case triggers to now define, okay, when is our origin going to be from community? Now, this is a very simple trigger that I created here, and we're going to be firing this trigger before insert. So that means when our customer hits that submit button on the contact support page, this trigger is going to get fired before it's inserted into the database. And I'm doing one simple check here. I'm going to be checking who is this user creating this case. Is it an internal or an external user? And I'm checking that by checking the user info user type. Now, the user type is a general field that is applied to different licenses. So the standard user type is applied to all the Salesforce internal licenses. So simply said is basically, is our user an internal? If it's not, then we're going to be getting that case and just setting the origin to community.
So that's pretty powerful. We've now shown you how to create a case and how to hang business processes off those cases by setting the origin field. One of the challenges is it is possible for an end user to edit a case from the community and edit the status field. Some people want that. That said, some smart users are going to go ahead and set their case to escalated and jump right to your tier 3 support queue. You don't want them to do that, and the good news is there's a way to stop them. Here it is.
Right, so I'm just going to go ahead and go to case validation rules. But before I go and show you the rule, I'm going to jump to my portal user that I have here. So, Arya tried to find an answer, nothing helped, so she's going to go to contact support, and she's going to file a case. This machine is broken, and then need help. Just keep this simple. So we're going to submit it, and now she's going to get redirected to the case record detail page. And she's going to see that the status is set to new, and she's in a hurry. She wants her machine, she wants her coffee. So she's going to say, okay, I'm going to edit this, and I'm going to try to set the status to escalated. But before I hit save, let's go ahead and set our validation rule to make sure that she cannot edit that status. So validation rules, what they do is when this condition is set to true, it throws an error. So we're going to be using the AND function, and we're going to be evaluating two expressions to be true. First one is the status field being changed? The second expression, we're going to be using an OR function to check if any of these are true. Now, let's say that you want a specific profile to not be able to edit that status, or maybe, as I mentioned in the case origin, you want only certain licenses to not be able to edit. So in this case, the CSP Lite portal is for the customer community license, and the Power Partner is for all the partner community licenses. And lastly, let's say, usually the case context is the person who created the case. So you don't want them to be able to escalate their own case, so you can prevent that by doing that. Now, once that evaluates true, you can set your own error message here, and you can also choose where this error message will show up. So right now, I'll have it on the top of the page, or you can also set it right underneath the field. So let's go see that in action. So I'm gonna go back here, and this person's gonna try to save it. But as you can see, sorry, you cannot update your own status. So all they have to do now is just put it back to its original value, or they can just hit cancel, but let's say they're like a problem, they can now save that. And there you go.
Now we're going to get to the even cooler stuff. I know you're thinking it couldn't possibly get cooler than that. These are the jokes, people. These are the jokes. Sometimes, if you've got a community manager or a member of the support team who's interested in ensuring customer satisfaction, customer success, they might see a question in the community that gives them pause, makes them a little nervous. And what they want to do is immediately make that into a case from within the community. Because Communities is built on top of Service Cloud, you can do that. I'd love to say it's easy to set up. I would be lying. It's hard to set up, but Ashley's going to show you how anyway.
Yeah, so first, before I get into how to set it up, so manual escalate to case is simply this new action that you see here, escalate to case, that you'll find on the question post. So let's go ahead and show you the steps that you need to take. So first is go to cases, and under cases, you'll go to support settings. Now under support settings, you want to make sure that enable question to case in communities is checked. After that is checked, then you're going to go back here and you're going to look for feed item. You're going to go to its layouts. You're going to edit. And then now here you'll find a new action called escalate to case. You want to make sure that it's under Salesforce 1 inline experience actions, since this is what the communities uses. Now the next part is to look for the field accessibility. Now once you have enabled that, the case object is going to have a new field called question from chatter. So you want to only let's say that you only want your system admin or certain managers to have access to this field, indicating that this case was created from a question. So right now, my current user is a system admin, so I just have it for them. And last thing is to go to case, page layouts, edit, and now here you'll find under fields the question from chatter. You want to make sure that it's somewhere on the case detail in one of the sections. In this case, I have it on my case information. So now, once all of that's done, it's not going to go back here. And I could look in through the community. Oh, I'm like, I stumbled upon this question. I see that nobody's answering. They seem to be in a hurry. So we're going to go ahead and escalate that to a case. So you're going to set new, you're going to set to escalated, you're going to set save. And now that question here, you'll see here that it's now question escalated. And then that way it indicates that now there's a case for this question. You can click on the toast message there, and now you can see the case here.
Awesome stuff. So it's a really nice user experience to have somebody go through the community and escalate your question. But as you think about next generation support and providing really good experiences, it's about anticipating the customer problem before they have it or as they have it and proactively solving it for them. There's a great way to do that within Communities, which is to automatically create cases based on criteria you see in chatter questions in the community. So a great example, if a question has a bunch of views and a bunch of likes and hasn't been answered yet, let's make a case out of it automatically so an agent can have a look. Or if they use a certain keyword, an angry word, or the name of a competitor, let's make a case out of that. There's a lot of ways to set this up. The two that we're going to show you now are via Process Builder and via Apex Triggers.
So yeah, first one is Process Builder. Now this one, it's a great UI. You know, lets you create a process. In this case, we want to create a process from a question post to case. So first things first is where is our starting point. Now our object is going to be feed item, which is a question post, and we want to start the process when a record is created or edited. Now next step is to now define your criteria. Now we want to only take the action of creating a case when all of these conditions are met and they're all true. So first, our conditions will be like count has greater than 3, it has no comments, and it obviously has no best comment yet. So once all of those are true, then we're gonna say, okay, now take this action. Now the action will be create a record, and we're gonna be using the case record type, and now we're gonna set the values for that case. In this case, we're gonna be referencing the feed item. We're gonna set the origin to community, status to escalated, and we're just going to simply use the question subject for the question's title to be the case subject. And once you activate this, anytime somebody creates a post, or in this case, since we require at least 3 likes, whenever somebody takes an action by liking the post, then this will be evaluated in the background. Now, next thing is we're going to be showing you the trigger. So you want to have a little bit more flexibility in terms of how do you escalate your cases. So we're going to go to feed item, and triggers here. So I'm gonna have 2 triggers to show you. First one is by keyword. Now here I have a trigger that's gonna be fired every time a question post is inserted in the community. We're gonna have a Boolean here to keep track of when our keywords are hit. And so for each new feed item that is inserted, we're gonna be first checking where is this feed item coming from. So the feed item object has a network scope field called network scope. And what this does, it keeps tracks of where is this question post created. In this case, was it in communities or was it an internal org? So when network scope equals null, that means that it was created in the internal org. And then for network scope equals all networks, that means that you can be in a community and let's say you go to accounts and you go to the feed publisher and you create a question post. And in that case, then it will be set to all networks. So we want to make sure that it's just only question posts that are being, let's say, created through the ask the question component in community. So once that's true, we're just going to also have another criteria making sure that it is only question posts, since regular posts and poll posts are also in communities. So once we got that, we're gonna get the title, and we're gonna be checking here for your keywords. In this case, I have, does it contain help or does it have emergency? So once when either of those are true, we're gonna set our Boolean. Now we're gonna check the body. Now for question post, title is not required, the title is only required, not the body. So you wanna first make sure that it's not null, so that then you can go ahead and then check your keyword. Like Eric mentioned, maybe a competitor. So now finally we're just, okay, are our keywords there? Then we're just gonna simply create a case, and then this is, you can put all the field values. So we're gonna be using the feed item's title plus case to indicate that this is a question case, and then escalated origin, and you can do that with the rest of the case fields, and now we're gonna insert it. The last trigger is through question age. So this is very similar to the one that I showed you through the process builder, but the only difference now is that I am also checking how old is this question. So this one I'm gonna be doing an after update. That way, whenever somebody makes a comment or somebody likes it or any action that the question post is done, we're gonna be firing this trigger. Now, same thing as before, we're gonna make sure that it's only in a community, and we're gonna be using the date, we're gonna be getting the dates. So first of all, you wanna get, when was this question created? You wanna get the current time, and you're gonna convert those days into milliseconds. And so once you have those numbers, we're gonna be using our formula here to convert it into days. So now we're just gonna simply go ahead and check, does it have no best comment? Does it have at least 5 comments? Maybe it has several likes and it's at least 10 days old. Then we're just gonna go ahead and create a case. And again, you set your fields to however you see fit.
So we just showed you how to automate case creation as well, so you can be proactive in responding to your customers. When they get home, folks are going to try to set this up. Any gotchas they should look out for or headaches we can help them avoid now?
Yeah, definitely. So this ties back to the contact support. So we actually have gotten several customer cases where they can't figure out why are the guest users not able to create cases through the contact support. And that is simply because there's this checkbox here called guest access to the support API that is disabled by default. So you want to go to sites, click on your community and hit edit. And then once you go here, you want to go scroll down and make that check that, and then you'll see these 2 boxes. And this is going to list all your new case global actions. So you want to then add the global action that the contact support is using. In this case, it is using the new case. So once you save that, the guest users, when they go into your community and they want to create a case, they're not going to see a big red message saying, sorry, but you do not have access to the new case global action.
All right, we've got 1 extra minute. Can you show them the Chrome extension? This is the coolest.
Oh, yeah, I actually found this. So there's, let's say, so for the user type, actually that's a pretty good example. So I'm gonna go ahead and look for profiles here. So let's, user type, I showed you standard or CSP Lite portal. So you can go ahead and click on your profile. And then there's this Chrome extension called Organizer, but the ORG is capitalized. So you're gonna go ahead and click on this, and you're gonna click on S-Objects fields, and so it is gonna have your profile ID depending on so if you go to record detail, or you're gonna fill this in, and you're gonna create all the fields, and if you scroll all the way down, you'll find the user type right here. So you'll see that this Customer Community Plus license has a Power Customer Success user type, and if I go to the Customer Community license, then it would just be called CSP Light Portal, and then that's a more general term that we use for groups of licenses.
Just on the off chance that Power Customer Success or CSP Light Portal are not the words you use to describe those profiles, it's a very powerful extension.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Ashley. That was awesome stuff. You may have been wondering why Kanan's here, and now you're going to find out. Next thing we want to talk about is setting up Snapins and Live Agent within Community. The good news is, in Summer 17 release, we made it dead simple to drag a chat form or a chat bot into a community in the Builder tool. The not as good news is you got to do some work to set it up before it's going to work, and Kanan's going to talk about that and show you how.
Yeah. So if any of you have ever wondered if you want to embed chat in your communities, you can now do that with the Snapins chat. But before we get into how we can do that, I did want to take maybe 15, 20 seconds just to level set everyone's understanding of what Snapins is. Snapins is actually a brand new product in Service Cloud. It allows you to embed the entire customer support channels into your web page or your mobile application. So if you have channels like Knowledge, Cases, Live Agent that you want to embed on your website, that's when you would use Snapins. But like Eric mentioned, in Summer 17, we've taken this a step further and made it really easy for you to chat with your customers right in your communities. So it's a Lightning component now in communities. Historically, if you are a Live Agent customer and have tried to include Live Agent in communities, it's been a little bit of a pain because it's a managed package, and you have to configure all sorts of Live Agent URLs. So we've gone away from that. We've made it a standard component, just like any other community component. So this is really how it look and feel, and we'll go over this. The key things to highlight is it's a standard component. You can customize all your labels now, and then it uses community branding. So you don't want it to be like a clunky Salesforce-looking widget on your community. You actually want it to look one with your experience, and we use community branding for that. The other thing is, if you want a different deployment every page, you can do that because it's a component. Or if you want one chat within your entire community, you can drop it into the footer. Cool. With that, I will go into the demo. So, like I said, you need to have Live Agent. Live Agent is still the backend, and this is how you would set up a Live Agent in your org. It's a chat button. You go to Live Agent, chat buttons, and you set it up. The next thing to show you is this is where your agents spend half of your time. They're in the console. They're taking chat requests. This is the Live Agent chat. Now, Service Cloud has gone full Lightning in Summer 17. The only reason I'm actually showing Classic Console is because the Live Agent widget will be moving to Lightning in Winter 18 in the next release. But if you are a Service Cloud user, you should try to move to Lightning. I really should not be demoing Classic right now.
And just for those of you who aren't familiar with the Salesforce parlance, Winter 18 actually means winter of 2017, in particular in October, which is technically autumn of 2017. So yes. Clear as mud. Thank you, Kanan.
So we're 3 months away from getting Live Agent into Lightning. Cool. So the next thing I'm going to do is actually go to Snapins, which lies under Lightning Experience. I know this is a little confusing, but you don't need to have your org in Lightning. You just need to enable Lightning in your org and go to Service, go to Snapins. I'm going to create a new deployment. So the only thing you need to do is give it a deployment name. I'm going to call it Trailhead Community.
While you set that up, there's one quirk to be aware of. You need to set the Live Agent up in Classic setup and the Snapin up in Lightning setup. So you're jumping from Classic to Lightning just for a minute to set up this piece.
Yes, and I think that's kind of, for the next 6 months, we're getting everything into Lightning, but all the newer products are being built in Lightning. Cool, so the first thing you do is you create a Snapins deployment. Now, the next thing is really saying which Live Agent button or deployment do I want to connect this to. In my org, I just have one button and one deployment. I'm going to click that and hit save. Branding is mostly for websites. Because we follow community branding, you don't need to do anything here. And the pre-chat page is for your pre-chat form. Most live agent customers like to collect information about their customers before they jump into a chat. So if you want to customize your pre-chat form declaratively, you can do that. By default, we create a contact and a case. But if you don't want case subject, you can remove that field. You can say, OK, I'd rather have a case reason, pick list, and you can add that. Hit save.
One thing to throw out there, there's a couple different deployments that you could point to, or as many as you want. What that means is you could have a chat bot or a chat on your Contact Us page that talks to different agents than on your purchasing page, for example. So one talks to tech support, one talks to customer service.
And if you had to do that with Snapins today, you would typically create 2 Snapins deployment, and in your communities, choose a different deployment per page. So that's all you need to do. Get code would be for a website. For communities, it's a component. So now imagine you have a communities. You go to all communities, go to builder. I'm in my builder. OK, so I'm in my builder. I deployed this. I'm going to take this. OK, back.
Wouldn't be a Kanban guard demo without at least one network disconnect.
Every time this happens. Cool, so I have my community. I had actually deployed this right before, but I'm going to take it out, delete. So what we have here is just a vanilla community. This is my component list. I have, like I said, Snapins Chat is a standard component that is available with all of your communities. I can drag and drop it to any part of the page. I'm just going to drop it into the footer because I want one deployment across my entire site. And then here's where you point it to a chat deployment. We created Trailhead communities. You can point it to that. Some of the customizations you can do, when your agents are online, we say chat with an expert. Say you want to call it chat now. You can customize that. And I'm going to go ahead and publish this component on the community. Say got it, and then hit preview. Come out of it. Come out to the preview. And there you go. You're now live with a chat in a Snap. Really, that's the Snapins. You can get up and running in a matter of hours. So this is the Snapins chat. I'm just going to show a little bit of the runtime. You can get up and running. This is the case reason that we said chat now. The first thing you show is you're in the waiting state. If I'm on my console, I get the chat request. I accept it. And then, like I said, we go right into chatting state. I can say, hi, agent, I need help. And then you can start chatting with your agent. You can save transcripts. You can move across different pages, and your chat will be preserved. So if I go to contact support, your chat is preserved. Right now with Live Agent, it would be a pop-out window, and you would lose that connection with the community and Live Agent. This is embedded. It follows you throughout the community experience. So how are we on time?
We're great. You can have 2 to 3 more minutes.
OK, excellent. So I wanted to show a couple more things. Imagine the agent requests for a file. So I can say file request initiated, and then I can go ahead, click anything that I want, open, attach it, send it. So this is really an embedded experience in your community, and you can get up and running with Live Agent. Imagine I wanted to end the chat, I'm done chatting, and then most customers actually want a post-chat form because they want to collect the survey from how the chat went and then feed it back into Salesforce. So we do have a give feedback. You can attach it to any post-chat form. I've just linked it to SurveyMonkey, but this could be potentially a Visualforce page or any page that you think. So really, that's kind of what I wanted to demo. How would you get Live Agent into your community with a Lightning component? Cool.
Thank you. You want to hop back to the slides real quick? We've got one more thing we want to talk about today, which is actually not a feature. Thank you, Kanan. Very good presentation. Probably wouldn't have guessed it, but up until 6 months ago, she was a developer writing the ones and zeros. Yeah. So now she's come to the dark side of product management. I've got one more thing I want to talk about real quick, which is called Community 360. It's a feature that's in pilot now. It's going to ship in our winter 18 release, which is in autumn 17, as discussed. So this is a true story. A couple months ago, the ice maker on my fridge broke. And being a product manager, communities geek, I immediately went out there to see what kind of community answers there were to how to fix my ice maker. So I spent a bunch of time on the community. I walked through a knowledge troubleshooting article. I gave it a thumbs down because it did not work. I made a couple comments about the grammar because I'm the child of an English teacher and kind of a pedantic guy. And then finally I gave up because I couldn't troubleshoot and fix my own problem. I picked up the phone, I called tech support, get on the horn with an agent, and the first thing she says to me is, "Thanks for calling. Now let's go have a look at this knowledge base article that's going to help you troubleshoot." And we walked right back to the article I just looked at and just gave a thumbs down to and just made a surly comment on. Exciting times. Anyway, they promised they were going to send an agent out to fix my broken ice maker. 2 weeks later, nobody's shown up. So I pick up the phone and I call again. They say, "Oh, sure, we'll transfer you over to the scheduling team right away. Before we do, we just need to walk you through this troubleshooting article again." So I've now been through the article 3 times. It didn't work any of the 3. So what we're doing with Community 360 is trying to solve that problem by allowing, I'm just going to jump right ahead to the screenshot. I'm going to try to jump ahead to the screenshot. What this is going to do is it's going to sit in the service console so that that agent on the phone knows exactly what I've looked at in the community and what I've done. So she knows that I viewed the article. She knows that I gave it a thumbs down. She will even know that I made some comments on it, be able to read the comments. Here's where it gets really cool. We're also going to have, so this is all going to ship in winter release. This is going to be there in Service Console, Lightning, or Classic for any of you to use. But we're going to have one little part of it that's pilot, and it's subtle, but I want to call it out there. Einstein, doing some natural language processing, is going to read all of the posts that this character, Avi Green, has made in the community, and is going to give a sentiment score to Avi. So if I'm an agent, and I'm dealing with a red-hot, angry customer who's just been spitting venom in the community, I actually know exactly what I'm dealing with, and I can treat that person with kid gloves. Likewise, if they're happy, I'll know that as well. So that's coming in winter release, and it's a feature that we're incredibly excited about. We've got about 4 minutes left for Q&A, is the good news. I did not expect to have that time at the end. So are there any questions about any of the things that you've seen today, concerns, feedback, or otherwise? Okay, question? Question on Avi Green's profile, and thank you, by the way, for folks who are streaming out. We know you had choices which session to come to. We appreciate you picking ours. Hopefully it was good. The question was around the crown on Avi's profile, and what does that represent? In Community Cloud, we have the concept of gamification. We've got a leaderboard, and you can assign points to different activities that a user does. Liking articles, liking posts, answering questions, getting the best answers, and that shows up in the community on their profile. So what this does is actually tells you what's their gamification status in the community. So for example, if an MVP calls in who's deeply knowledgeable about the product, I am going to probably grant them a lot more credibility and send them right through to tier 3. Another question?
Yeah, we were trying to control the pick-list field that was available on the status. Why did you use it through validation versus logging it as read-only?
So why did we do validation
So
versus read-only?
The status field is by default a required field and it's locked in as such. So it's pretty hard to, basically for the licenses, it's locked in as required. So you have to go around it by setting validation rules to then prevent your customer licenses to edit it.
But can't you already lock down like all the fields?
You mean?
You've already given it a default value of new.
Right.
That requirement is fulfilled. However, you only want them to see it as a read-only field.
Right, you can't make it read-only. It's either visible or it's not. So you can't make it read-only.
That's why, yeah, unfortunately. So fair question. There was a follow-up question here?
No, that was another question.
Yeah.
So when I
So the question is there a security check on the Snapins for chat?
So we assume, so when the agent is talking to a customer, the interaction is initiated by the agent. So at that point, the agent should have validated that this is a customer, that we've reached a point that they are going to actually attach a bill or some receipt or whatever else they want. Through Salesforce, if they still attach a malware, then there's nothing we can do up until it reaches our console.
That said, there might be a solution. So there's a couple of App Exchange partners out there who integrate with Salesforce Files, for example, to run security scans on files that are uploaded. I'm wondering if there isn't the ability to route these chat requests through there. So that's one for me to look into. Question up front?
Yeah, going back to Snapins, is there coming up the ability to send files the other way around, so from the agent?
Yeah, we've gotten that request a lot, but because of that one reason, it's always agent initiated, and we don't want customers just to upload files to agents without.
No, I'm saying that from the agent to the customer.
Yeah, so the question is there a way for the agent to push files to a customer? via Snap?
Today, the way we do this or get around the problem is if the agent were sending you a link, we allow links to be sent. So if this is a video tutorial or there's a link to the PDF, it needs to be publicly hosted, and the agent can just send you the link, and you can view the link.
For example, a knowledge article in the community.
Yes, a knowledge article in the community or a YouTube video, etc. There's really not been a very good reason why agents should be sending physical files that's not publicly hosted to a customer. So,
All right, we're 10 seconds over. We'll take one more.
Just to follow up on that one.
Sure.
yeah.
Couldn't have an agent send like a confirmation page or receipt or something like that is direct to the customer.
Yeah, at that point, we would rather have you email it, not send it as a part of a chat.
Could you create the action from the chat to email the receipt?
So what happens is when you initiate a chat, a contact and a case does get created. So on that contact, you would rather have an email to contact option, and you would send that as an attachment than on a chat, and then we have to store it in the chat transcript.
And it'll still come up with the action. It'll still be visible.
Oh yeah, in contacts, yes, it's a.
So we think of the Snapin as the start of a sort of persistent relationship, and the case is the sort of the place where that relationship continues
Yes.
from there.
We still
Take
want
it to the
everything
next
to
level.
be on the contact and case, not chat.
Thank you so much, guys and gals. It was hopefully a good session for
I
you.
think there's a last
One more question? All right, go for it. And we'll stick around, by the way,
Yes.
if you have more questions. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, so it's there. We use Live Agent Find or Create API. So if a contact's found or whichever lead is found, if that's what you want, we do a find. If it's not found, then we create one. Yeah. Cool.
Thank you so much, everybody. Really appreciate your
Yeah.
time today.
Yeah.